Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is a review of the Louis Vuitton Escale Time Zone 39. This is quite a cool watch. Not insanely priced, definitely a luxury timepiece, but something that I think a lot of people will want to know about. Now this is Louis Vuitton's take on the world time watch, and what that means is you have a few different things going on. You have hour and minute hands here. You can see them kind of poking out around the side. I call them peripheral ones because the middle just sort of has the Louis Vuitton logo. It says time zone. Then you have a 24-hour scale, which is segmented into AM and PM, which is essentially day-night indicator, which allows you to know the time in a 24-hour format. And then you have a city indicator ring. So the idea is that you can look at this time on this black and white ring in coordination with these city times, and you'll know the time zone, the time there. So for example, you see here it says PAR for Paris, and you would look accordingly here, and it's somewhere between 12 and 1 o'clock there. So you know that it was about 12:30, 35 there approximately, 12:37, 12:38 in Paris, when it is this time here at about 9:30 or 9:30, almost 9:40. So that's how that works. And the way to change the time zone is you set the time in your home city, and then you would use this ring here to change it. This watch is a prototype that Louis Vuitton sometimes sends out for photography purposes. Doesn't work perfectly, so that changing that outer ring, this is how you would do it, but I can just show you here when it's moving around. So you can see how that black and white ring moves concurrently with that. This outer ring actually isn't necessarily supposed to move, so I'm just sort of showing you in general. If you're familiar with world time watches, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Louis Vuitton did not need to reinvent anything. Watches like this are popular. There's the Patek Philippe World Timer is probably one of the most popular ones. It's a system which existed for a long time. It's very clever. If you're interested in knowing the time zones in any of the 24-hour time zones, this is a great complication. The Louis Vuitton version is very colorful. Louis Vuitton first came out with some watches like this, and each of these little indicators here, these little colorful flags as they call them, were hand painted, and those watches were extremely expensive and beautiful. Now they have different versions that sort of take this look. I believe they're lacquered, which means they're not hand painted, but you're not paying for someone to necessarily paint the watch. This movement was developed in-house by Louis Vuitton's watchmaking arm. It's an automatic, and it has a cool kind of hidden rotor there, so you can see the text, the Louis Vuitton text moving, which is part of the hidden rotor, which I think is quite cool and nicely done. The Escale case is inspired by some of the Louis Vuitton luggage. So this lug system here is inspired by some of the hardware on the luggage, and it looks quite nice. 39 millimeters wide is definitely on the smaller side for me. A lot of people like it as a dress watch size, and this is definitely trying to be something that is a dress watch and sized like that. The gray alligator strap is attractive, and I find that if you want to have a dress watch that has a Louis Vuitton flair and some color, this is a great choice because it's very practical. It's a brand that a lot of people know, so you don't have to sort of excuse your flamboyance for any reason. You're like, oh, it's a Louis Vuitton time zone watch. How cool is that? These colorful flags are inspired by some of their old luggage and things like that, the customizable luggage for travel and things like that. This watch also comes in gold, I believe. It comes in a 41 millimeter wide version, which has a blue tone to it. And of course, there's some more high-end models that have a similar look. They're not necessarily world time ones, but they have a similar look that of this paint, these colorful dial that is in fact painted. You can see on the wrist it's quite thin, very, very comfortable. So again, 39 millimeters is a little bit smaller for someone like me that likes sport watches, but for a suit watch, extremely sensibly sized, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this. Again, this is a Louis Vuitton Time Zone 39 in steel. Retail price is $7,200, and you can see the full review on aBlogtoWatch. Thanks.